Yeah,
Great. It's great. It's been a while. And you know, on this campaign, matters of religion and so on have come on, and I have stumbled on, you know, some of the analysis that have been done. There were as many as 236 Christian candidates that were presented nationwide by the NPP. That was like 85.5% of NPP parliamentary candidates. Out of that 236 Christians, 81, that's 33.9% success rate. Out of the 236 Christians who contested on the ticket of the NPP, 156 lost, representing 66.1%. This clearly tells you that the issue of Bawumia not being Christian and that affected them, and so he's not a candidate to be considered, appears to be made up and is not backed by the evidence. If you look at the Muslim, community, they presented out of 219 parliamentary candidates who were Muslim in the 11 southern regions, 206 were Christians and 13 were Muslims. Out of the total that I'm talking about, 206 were Christians and 13 were Muslims. 40 Muslims contested. That's representing 14.5%. Out of the 40 Muslims that contested on the ticket of the NPP, 9 won, representing 22.5% success rate. What do you say? The NPP, those who are against Bawumia are seeking to use, religion to push him out. The evidence doesn't support it completely.
No, yeah, you're very right. I mean, look, the evidence on the religious argument is just complete hogwash. It is, you can slice and dice the data how you want, but you come to a very firm and simple conclusion. The NPP lost the 2024 election not because of religion, but because of the economy. It is as simple as that, right? The issues that you, myself, and several others on this platform have been talking about, from domestic debt exchange to e-levy, and at one point on Newsfile back in 2022, I was among the first people to actually call for the sacking of Oporiata, the finance minister, because the position had become, untenable. It is those issues that sent the elephant back into the bush again, and really not to do with the fact that Bawumia, was Muslim and he lost votes in the other Christian regions or even districts. In fact, if you look at the data very carefully and you analyze it by region and by constituency, across the board, NPP consistently dropped or lost votes in all regions.
Yeah.
And NDC actually did gain some votes in most of the regions, right? And so it cannot be that it is because they put a candidate that was, had a different religious tag than those in the other parts of the country. I can tell you that if they had listened and actually run the economy much better than many people had expected them to do, especially after COVID, when the warning signs, were all beginning to show, they would have still, quote unquote, broken the 8. But like Bawumia himself said, it was part to do with the cost of living crisis and part to do with the arrogance of power, to borrow the same words, right?
And on the religious card, even on the front of the NDC, they presented 215 Christians. Out of that number, 74 lost.
Yes, and even what will be interesting is when you look at where these candidates came from. So you have to look at the district and look at the makeup of those districts. What are the key or core ethnic groupings and subgroupings within those districts to actually do a proper statistical, analysis related to that. But I can tell you, when people are hungry, when people are having to, face with cost of living pressures and inflation over 54%, it is not a question of whether one is Muslim or Christian. That does not put food on the table, and that does not take care of their needs. And the reason why the NPP lost the election is very clear. They lost because they mismanaged the economy. It's as simple as that.
Right.
And they may make arguments to the effect that, well, that is not true, blah, blah, blah. But the warning signs had been there all throughout, that they had to take or make course correction. Other than that, Ghanaians were going to punish them, quite seriously. And you can again see it, even in Bawumia's Thank You Tour, right? So yes, Meta says, and I agree, these tours are not new. We've had them in the past. The candidate did not take the other ones along, and they are trying to convey a message of unity this time around. But what we are seeing on the tour also shows that, look, there is still pain and there's still anger, right, amongst the hierarchy and amongst the grassroots, going back to the fact that we're not happy with the way you manage the state of affairs. And this has, fundamentally affected the fortunes of the party, going forward. And so suddenly you're even seeing other new aspirants. I think this week we saw a post from Educhum, right? Subsequently, it was deleted, more or less intimating that maybe, he may be, putting his hat in the race, and subsequently other people as well.
Tell me about this. Does it not look like a very credible candidate to you that if he put himself in it, he could make a good, a good showing?
I think he has what it takes. I'm sure there are other people too that have what it takes. I am sure Bawumia himself would want to go again. It is not for me to judge. It's for the people that belong to the party to make that decision.
All right.
But the point I'm trying to make is that the fact that other people are even intimating of putting in, a bid or a run, and the fact that these issues are happening on the tour shows me that there's still a lot of anger and there's still a lot of pain, and they want to change things. But the way you want to change things is not because of religion. You've got to fundamentally address the issues that sent you to opposition, which Michael Koya and several of us, had indicated way earlier. So for me, look, they have to own up.
Okay.
They have to apologize to Ghanaians, not just to their party people. And they have to address
Traditionally, it is the flag bearer that does the Thank You Tour. What do you think went into the thinking of Dr. Bawumia to say that let's invite all other 8, flag bearer candidates to join the tour? And it obviously has not helped. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I think strategically, the thinking would have been, okay, let's bring all the people along, carry them along, show a sign of unity or sort of a coherent front. But the fact that it's also coming in just 4 months after a major election loss. I mean, let's put things in context. This is the most significant loss that the party had suffered going all the way back to 1992 and 96, right? So there's a lot of, call it open wounds, a lot of sore terms around that would have to be addressed. So I see where the Dr. Bawumia wanted, or what he wanted to do in relation to sort of showing that there's a sense of unity among the rank and file of the party. But I think what we have also subsequently seen really is reflective of the fact that some people and several people are not happy. And those things would have to be addressed before you even go on any Thank You Tour, for that matter.
Okay.